My amplified unit, after years, not weeks, not months, but years of waiting for WWE to put on a Monday Night Raw with multiple memorable moments from the show, multiple memorable segments from the show, segments that we are invested in and care about. Finally, last night, we got a show with multiple topics that we care about talking about the next morning. 10 hours after that show went off the air, and here we are with actual talking points that get us intrigued for WrestleMania. There was a time last night where I didn't know what my lead-off story was going to be. Ronda Rousey dropping the Women's Championship last night in front of Stephanie McMahon's feet. Becky Lynch getting arrested. Roman Reigns announcing that he is in remission. The Shield hinted at another reunion already, months before, or at least 6-7 weeks before WrestleMania, and we already are getting the hints of the Shield reunion, but none of that was actually gonna be my lead story by the time Monday Night Raw went off the air last night, because Batista would return and flip the professional wrestling world upside down. This is BC's Amplified Monday Night Raw review for February 25th, 2019. Come along for the ride, but buckle up. You've been warned. We are getting amplified to the highest degree. We start right now. Alright guys, so the first order of business is to happily introduce Mitch Jr. That's right. Say hello to Mitch Jr. He'll be a part of the show from here on out. You guys may remember his father. This was Mitch, Dean Ambrose's housewarming gift when he was on the highlight reel of Chris Jericho. This quickly escalated into a rivalry between Jericho and Ambrose, however, and Jericho's highlight reel ended up being canceled, and in its place, Dean Ambrose had his new talk show, The Ambrose Asylum, which he set up shop for his potted plant Mitch. That was his big prop for the Ambrose Asylum. But Chris Jericho, during this rivalry, one night in St. Louis, did a dastardly deed that we've never forgiven him for. He took Mitch and he cracked it over the skull of Dean Ambrose. Mitch was no more, never to be seen again. However, I have a lot of friends over there in St. Louis, like I do all over the country, like I do all over the world. I had those friends pile up any of the soil they could from Mitch. And what I did with that soil is I took it with some other genetically superior ficus plants. I put them together, I meshed them with some new scientific approaches, and through it all, when it was all said and done, Mitch Jr. was created. This is a genetically superior ficus plant, along with other soiled plant stuff. This is Mitch Jr. Yes, it has Mitch's genetics. This is the son of Mitch, and he will carry on the legacy of Mitch. So say hello to Mitch Jr., please. Mitch says hello to you guys, too, just so you know. He wanted me to tell you guys that as well. He's not the biggest talker. He likes to listen a lot, but he does say hello to you guys. Now let's get on with business, shall we? Now that you guys have been introduced to Mitch Jr. Like I said, guys, so much to start off with. We could have. Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns. I'd be doing an injustice to this review show if I didn't start off with Batista, Triple H. This is the hottest news story right now in professional wrestling, and justifiably so. It was done beautifully. It was done brilliantly. I cannot remember in 30 plus years watching this business, not just that company, an angle going off so smoothly in a way that it should have been done. But because it should have been done that beautifully and brilliantly, you knew WWE wasn't gonna do it. When we heard the rumblings that Batista was in the building in Atlanta, but he wasn't introduced beforehand, we kind of started to think maybe Batista attacked Flair, but no, that's too brilliant, that's too creative. WWE wouldn't do that then. And they introduced Ric Flair, and everybody's out there. Shawn Michaels is out there in the ring. Sting is in the ring. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. All of the WWE superstars are out there, even people that shouldn't be out there. Lacey Evans right now, you want her to be a star, you gotta protect her. She's just mingling with everybody else. Braun Strowman, once a monster, now just looking like everyone else, just a meek man, like all in it for the show. Some guys should not have been out there. I hate when they parade guys. That's like The Undertaker just chilling out with everybody. You can't have certain individuals chilling with everyone. But that's the one negative. Everybody was out there. In the ring, you had legends. They pulled out all the stops. The cake, balloons. They made this a huge segment. And when you do things like that, when you dedicate the time, the energy, and the creativity to a segment, to a story, it's going to pay off dividends. It's going to pay off huge. Because the audience at home, the crowd there in attendance, sees the time and effort and creativity going into it. WWE doesn't do that anymore because Triple H's head is so far up NXT's ass. Vince McMahon's head is so far up the XFL Football League's ass that he's creating. Stephanie McMahon is too busy trying to get the next charity to be on Monday Night Raw. And who can WWE do business with so the business, it looks like it's the best thing in the world. We help out the Special Olympics. We help out all these diseases. We help out handicapped people. That's great. In the process, the business is actually failing. Nobody's actually paying attention to the product. Everybody else is looking everywhere else to every other endeavor. XFL, NXT, charities. How can we make WWE look great? How about you make the product good? So I did not give them the benefit of the doubt last night, even when all the legends were announced and Ric Flair's music started to play. And Batista never came out, even though we knew he was in the building. The thought came through my mind, this would be the perfect time to have Batista jump Flair and set up an H feud that he's wanted since the beginning of time. Wait, maybe not that long ago, but for years now, he's wanted that one last feud with Triple H. He even said he'd put Triple H over in many interviews. Triple H wouldn't even answer his phone calls. That's another reason why this was done beautifully. That's right, what we all wanted to have happen actually happened. That's the first part of this brilliant, beautiful part of the plan, of the angle, of the segment. Batista jumped Ric Flair from behind. Then when he was done, he went and got a cameraman. This is where we picked up the action backstage. Batista's dragging a cameraman from his knees. Tells the cameraman, you wait here, don't go anywhere. Goes into Ric Flair's locker room. Ric Flair has obviously already been beaten up. He's roughed up a little bit more. We hear a little bit more noise back there. And then he drags Ric Flair out. In the ring, we cut to Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, everybody. Looks like they just saw a ghost. Tragedy has just struck. Batista drags out Ric Flair. They're backstage. Batista looks right in the camera. Says, hey, Triple H, do I got your attention now? We have a moment of silence. Still staring at the camera, he takes his glasses off. Huh? He screams into the camera. Triple H, we cut back to him in the ring. He starts running. He leaves the ring. Legend still left in the ring. He's running up the rampway. He goes through all of the superstars that are up at the ramp. It was supposed to be a celebration. It turned to tragedy. And Triple H now goes to the back. He's searching for where Ric Flair is. He sees all the suits and ties, referees, medical staff. He runs over there. We got the little WWE logo icon in the fucking down right corner, letting all of us know that the show's about to end. And sure enough, we fade to black, and that's what we are left with. After the memorable stories and newsworthy topics that came from that show, and they were plentiful, we are left with Batista's amazing return. And it was amazing because it was done so beautifully and so brilliantly. That is the way you come back. That is the way you set up a major WrestleMania match. Whether you want to see Triple H or Batista in the ring or not, whether you think that's going to deliver or not, That story just started off as the most captivating story that we've had since November. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey. That hasn't been nearly how hot it was back in November. But finally we have something that we were all collectively like, wow, that was badass. That Batista storyline segment with Triple H that they kicked off for WrestleMania last night was so fucking epic, guys. And you know you feel the same. You want to trash the show as a whole. You want to say, yeah, but there's no yeah, buts. That is a WWE storyline that I can get behind. That is something that should have been done for years now, guys. That is what I mean when I say just build superstars and give us storylines that I care about. In this situation, you already have 2 built superstars. Now just give me the story. What's the story? How about the reality of it? How about the fact that Batista has gone out in every interview and said, I want to come back to WWE one more time. I want to have one last feud with Triple H. They will not return my phone calls. They won't even get back to me. This wasn't story. This was reality. And that's exactly what Batista was talking about in all those interviews. And now we get it back. Now we get that feud on the highest degree, on the biggest stage. But this time, you have that reality backing it, and he's attacking his own Evolution members. This is something that's going to get real intriguing. The only thing they have to do, keep up the story. Keep it epic. Don't rest on your laurels from week 1. Keep this thing epic. Keep doing some fun shit with Batista. He's the outsider. He's going to attack Triple H wherever he wants. In a parking lot, at his home. It doesn't matter. At the supermarket. Make it that type of feud. You guys know I love that type of stuff. This is the type of story to do it. If you ain't going to do it with Becky and Ronda, you do it with those 2 then. And this will be closure. This is most likely absolutely the end of Batista's WWE run. The guy's either already 50 or about to be, if not over. He's got a successful movie career. He wanted one last run with Triple H. And they brought the reality factor into it. Guys, I can't tell you how pleased, thrilled, into it I was when Raw went off the air last night. And that's something we can't say a lot of with WWE as a whole over the past several years. Not weeks, not months. That Batista attacking Ric Flair on his 70th birthday party bash. This was a night for Ric Flair. All the legends in the ring, all the superstars of the rampway, and Batista not only crashed it, he ruined it. Ric Flair looked helpless to the point of lifeless when he was laid out. Flair looked dead. Hey, Triple H, hey, Hunter, I got your attention now, don't I? Huh? Those were Batista's words. And Triple H runs to the back. Batista's nowhere to be found. Ric Flair is lifeless. Laying there on the concrete backstage. And we fade to black and Raw goes off the air. WrestleMania season. Yeah, it finally feels like it. Finally. Usually it starts feeling like it around the Rumble. Here we are, the end of February. And finally, it feels like Mania season. Batista's back, baby. Now, it looks like he's supposed to be the heel. He could get so badass. He could blow up so big. People could love this so much. Don't be surprised if he turns face in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Because we're still 6 to 7 weeks away from WrestleMania. This could go either way. Just give me the epicness that you gave me last night. But that wasn't even it from Raw. That's the main story that we're going to be monitoring over the next several weeks for sure. But there was more. And of course, we're talking Ronda Rousey and Natalya defeating the Riot Squad via disqualification. The participants for the Riot Squad were Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan was involved a few times in that match. Finally, there was a disqualification. But the match itself was, first of all, nobody was desiring that match because it's the Riot Squad taking on Natalya and Rousey. Seen it before. Just because it's not as much as we've seen Riot Squad and Sasha and Bayley doesn't mean we haven't seen it enough times to not care anymore. But what was newsworthy in this match, and why this is a huge topic this morning, is because of what happened at the tail end of this match and into the conclusion of this match. Becky Lynch showing up, suspended, and against the orders of Triple H and Stephanie and Vince, if she shows up the very next time, she is getting arrested. Well, she showed up, still with the crutches, still hopping along, but still wanting to hit somebody with those crutches. So as long as she's showing that vicious, badass side of her, let her hop along then. I have not been a fan of that leg injury from the beginning. I don't like her looking weak at all. I don't want her hopping along. But if you're going to have her beating the shit out of human beings the whole time, then I can dance with you. And that's what she did. She hopped over. She starts swinging for the fences. Ronda Rousey looked extra pissed last night. Ronda Rousey was not selling any of those Becky shots with those crutches, guys. Ronda Rousey had one goal in mind. Get the crutch and start hitting Becky Lynch. Either there was miscommunication beforehand on how this was supposed to go down, or Ronda just went into business for herself. Because Ronda was not selling any of that. Ronda wanted it, and Ronda wanted to be on the offense. And Becky was not giving her that crutch. So Becky is starting to throw both. Nobody was getting it in the upper hand. Nobody was selling for the other. So there was a sense of awkwardness, but such a sense of realism. Like they're both actually just trying to kick the shit out of each other now. The best part is when Ronda went into the ring, Ronda starts beating up the suits and ties and referees and all of those Joe Schmoes. And she's literally laying into these motherfuckers. She is throwing bows, squaring up in their face. It didn't look like she was pulling anything back. It didn't look like she was too happy. She was throwing punches, squaring up into dudes the side of their faces, guys. She wasn't pulling a Nia Jax and busting open their nose. But she was throwing bows at human beings. That was awesome. That looked like some legit reality going down. And she was heated at something. Maybe she's still upset from Elimination Chamber. The reports that we got was that Ronda Rousey said, lay into me to Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber. And she laid in. She busted open Ronda Rousey. She bruised her all over her body. Maybe that was a little bit much. Maybe that was too much laying into me. You know what I mean? According to Rousey. But Rousey was not in the mood for selling anything last night. She just wanted to kick ass. So that's what they did. I love that brawl, man. There's conflicting reviews online. You know, some people loved it. Some people were kind of like, you know, it would kind of look sloppy and this and that. It did, but there was a believability that these two just wanted to kick the shit out of each other. And that's what I mean. If you do this correctly, you don't even need Charlotte Flair. You just have Ronda Badass versus Becky Badass and let this type of story play out. Every single time they see each other, they want to explode on each other. And from what I said from day one, Vince put security detail on both of them, so they can't. And at some point, you even have their securities fighting each other. And then another week or two, you could have them find a way to pull one over on their security and find a way to get their hands on each other. But man, if this was sitting in my lap and I was given the task by Vince McMahon to do some creative shit with these two for the next 7 weeks, guys, I'm having a blast. I would think of the most fun, entertaining, interesting, intriguing storyline that I could think of, and you guys would be having a blast with me. I'd be having a blast writing it. You guys would be having a blast watching it. Ronda and Becky would be having a blast performing it. I loved what I saw last night. I really did, man. That was a brawl. It got real because nobody wanted to... You guys know, I'm huge on selling. That's a big reason why I'm not die hard onto the flips and dives part of wrestling that we have entered into in this day and age. Because with the flips and dives, there is a lot less selling and a lot less psychology in professional wrestling. And those are two things I love. Psychology and selling, the defensive part of pro wrestling. But with the sense of realism that was brought between these two, Becky and Ronda, the no selling just added into that. A little hard to explain. Hopefully I'm doing the best that I can, and hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm saying, man. There's a believability between these two. And if they just play on that, then this will be epic for WrestleMania. If they don't, then this will continue to be put on the back burner. People will continue to not be as interested to see Ronda and Becky by the time WrestleMania comes along. Batista and Triple H will stay the hottest thing right now. That it is right now. It'll be the hottest thing in 7 weeks. Or Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins will be the match everybody really wants to see. But if they play Becky Lynch and Ronda the right way and bring that sense of realism into it, just like I said about Batista, if you bring reality into it just a touch, and you make us feel that as well, and you put in the time and effort and creativity into your own storylines, guys, Mania will be packed with matches we want to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Kofi and Daniel Bryan, the ultimate underdog story, one more time. You're right, Daniel Bryan was the ultimate underdog story at WrestleMania 30 New Orleans. But Kofi Kingston, after 11 years, can he finally get the job done? If he doesn't get the job done at Fastlane and they have another match, that's a good match right there that I'd be into. Seth Rollins trying to get the championship finally away from Brock Lesnar. If this is done correctly in the remaining 6 to 7 weeks, I can get behind that. It's a match I, up front, would like to see. I just want to be interested more, but I can get behind that. Batista and Triple H, if you're going to continue what you did last night, I'm definitely behind that. Becky versus Ronda, if you're going to continue what you did last night, I can get behind that more. Without Charlotte Flair even. Mania has the chance, even now, even though it started really late, to be something epic. Continue to give a shit. That's all I ask Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. Continue to give a shit. And we all will give a shit. And when we all give a shit, we have creativity. Anyway, guys, how that segment ended. Becky Lynch did end up getting arrested. Vince McMahon held true to his word. Stephanie, Triple H, they held true to their word. Becky Lynch was escorted by 4 officers up the rampway, hooting and hollering and screaming and talking trash the whole way up, which I loved. Finally, at the top of the ramp, they had to actually cuff her, which should have been done from the beginning. That's how you get arrested. I would know. Been arrested a couple 76 times in my life. You get arrested immediately. They don't just hold your arms and go, cooperate, please. But they did finally cuff her. And I love her. She was showing a line. I don't love her. I like Becky Lynch, not love. She was saying as she was getting cuffed, careful with the hands. I need these hands to hold up the championship. Arrest them. Those are the ones that are scared. So she was still talking trash even as she was getting arrested. I know people are going to say, it's like Stone Cold BC. No, it's not, guys. They're trying to recreate that, absolutely. And that type of storytelling absolutely has a place in professional wrestling. When you can play the anti-authority and you're getting arrested, that absolutely has a place. If it's going to be done correctly for Becky Lynch, then I'm on board. If you're going to make her just look meek and use that as an excuse, I'm not on board. How they have been doing this anti-authority thing with Becky Lynch the past several weeks, I am not on board with. What they did last night, that I am on board with. That was good. I like the whole segment, guys. I like the brawl. I like the fact that Ronda just wanted to punch Becky Lynch as hard as Becky Lynch was hitting her with the crutch shots. It was a good brawl. That got me more interested for Becky and Ronda than before Monday Night Raw hit the airwaves last night in Atlanta. And if I am more invested in something after a segment happens than I was going into that segment, that means it was done beautifully. Golf clap. But you have to continue it. You cannot rest on your laurels. The same thing I said about Batista and Triple H. You had an amazing segment last night. Do not stop there. Keep us intrigued. Keep getting creative. Love that Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey ending to that match. It wasn't even done there, guys. We went to commercial when Becky Lynch got arrested. When we came back from commercial, Ronda Rousey came back into the ring. And she demanded Vince McMahon come out there. Demanded it. Instead, she got Stephanie McMahon. Ronda Rousey pleaded her case. Reinstate Becky. I want to take on Becky. I'm done with this. This championship is just an accessory now. I want to defend this like a legit championship. Becky Lynch thinks she's legit better than me. This is something they want to see. Let's do it. And Stephanie's like, I understand, Ronda, and I respect the fact that you want to be the fighting champion, but Becky Lynch is unstable. Becky Lynch is just somebody who cannot be trusted to have a platform anymore. I cannot reinstate her. And Ronda Rousey went off more, and this is what I mean about Ronda Rousey. If you give her a few sentences, she will deliver them beautifully, guys. Ronda Rousey will get her point across with her facial expressions astoundingly. But if you give her long monologues, she's going to go into left field with a hockey stick. She's going to forget she's playing baseball. She's going to have a hockey stick, and she's going to start swinging that thing in left field. Stop giving Ronda Rousey monologues. It's going to come off as cringeworthy and awkward at a certain point. And it did again. Something that is supposed to be badass in her words, we actually start feeling for her in the promo. We start actually saying, come on, Ronda, don't fuck up, man. Don't do it. Don't botch, Ronda. You got this. I should be watching a pro wrestling promo and hoping that the wrestler stops botching her promo. Come on! Stop the monologues with Ronda, please. Short, sweet sentences. Ronda is not known for her mic skills. She's a badass in this world. She can snap a human being's arm in 0.4 seconds. And you got her delivering essays. College essays. 6 pages long. And she's squaring up to Stephanie like she's going to deck her, but instead, she lays down her title. And she says, if that's what this is going to be, I no longer want to be the champion. And she walks away. She dropped the title last night. Are they going to do a vacant storyline? Or are they just going to try to get Ronda to get her title back? Fine, we'll reinstate Becky. Just take your title back. Or will they just have it on the line? A vacant title. Like Ronda literally just dropped the belt last night. Remains to be seen, guys. I think they're going to give it back to Ronda, but this is obviously the way to get Becky into this match. The fans in Atlanta were yelling triple threat as if that's something we need to see. No, I just need to see Becky and Ronda one-on-one. I personally don't need to see that in the main event, the last match. But just one-on-one. They have a score to settle. They have a feud they need to get over with. Where does Charlotte Flair enter this at all? She doesn't, other than the fact that she's Vince McMahon's golden child. I'm not saying she's not deserving of high-quality matches. Charlotte Flair is one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. Male, female, it doesn't matter. Her athleticism, second to none, up there with Naomi, Ember Moon. I mean, superb athleticism. But her wrestling skills, in the time that she learned them, not many better. So I'm not saying deserving in that aspect. I'm saying she has no business to be in this match. But that whole couple of segments, after the Riot Squad match, you had the brawl, the crutch shots, Becky Lynch getting arrested, Ronda Rousey drops her title at the feet of Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon this is blasphemy. This is outrageous, the look in Stephanie McMahon's face. How could you? You're giving up your title. So amazing segments right there, guys. I really enjoyed them. I really did. And this is all before Batista. And even before that, that wasn't even one of the biggest, I mean, no, what am I saying? That was one of the biggest, but not one of the only. We're talking about Batista, Ric Flair, Triple H. We're talking about Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, dropping the title, an arrest. Roman Reigns stole some headlines last night as well. Roman Reigns returned to WWE last night, the Monday Night Raw, and he gave us the best news possible. He said, I am in remission. That's right, guys. Remission. He is absolutely ready to go cleared. We found that out later in the night. The ovation was awesome for Roman Reigns last night. Minutes and minutes of standing ovation, chants, you name it. That's good to see. Whether you love Roman or hate Roman, you know, the ovation is real more for Joe, the guy behind Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? But for the character as well to come back from this, that was also a chant and an ovation for Roman Reigns. Does that continue? Remains to be seen. But I'll tell you this, a lot more people love Roman Reigns, the character, than they did before this whole announcement back in October. So I definitely think the pendulum has definitely changed sides a bit, guys. The pendulum has switched, and there's a lot more people cheering for Roman Reigns. I don't care about cheers or boos outright. I want the creative, the booking, to be solid for Roman. That is what's going to get me invested in Roman Reigns. If you book him correctly, I'm with you. If you don't, we're going to want the guy out of the top spots again. You have to book people correctly for people to give a shit. It's the way the business is. So Roman Reigns, almost called him Raymond Reigns. That's his brother, Raymond Reigns. Roman Reigns cuts that awesome promo, man. And it's awesome because a guy just beat something that could kill people, that has killed people, that will kill people. And he beat it. That is awesome. And I know there's stories about is it a work and this and that. Guys, I don't even want to think of that. Unless something came up that proves that that was a work, I will never even give that a secondary thought. A firstary thought. I will never even put that in my... That is the most grotesque thing to think about. You would have to give me solid proof. I will never even think that is a... Never will I think that that's even an option to get somebody over. Never would I think that somebody like Roman would agree to it. His family would agree to that type of storyline. Never will I think that people can be that stupid and that heartless. I know there is out there. I don't want to think of Joe, Roman Reigns, as that person. I don't want to think of Vince as that bad. I know, dude faked his own death piece. Yeah, that's much different than having one of your performers go out there and say he has that and have everybody worrying about that guy for 4 months. I wouldn't even, guys, if you want to think that's a work, that's fine, but please don't spew that. Please don't spew that, guys. Anger, get back up there. What are you doing? Anger. He took over a New York City cab, guys. This guy, he resembles me. He's from a movie called Inside Out, or In and Out, right? Or Inside Out, In and Out, Inside Out. It's a movie about all these fucking emotions, right? You have joy, you have fear, you have anger. And anger is badass. Every little thing pisses him off. Anyway, where was I going? Yeah, I don't even want to think, guys, of that being a work. And please, I urge anybody, please do not spew that around. Unless you have actual proof, unless it comes to fruition that it was, guys, then we'll discuss. Then we'll talk about how bad of a situation this is, which would be unlike anything we've ever seen in this business. But there is no reason at all. I know people are pointing to certain characteristics and things that don't add up. But you don't know what the scenario actually was. And it's not your business to know. All you need to know is it's over. He beat it. He's in remission anyway. It's never truly over, I know. But, you know, you got to look at how awesome this is, man. So, you can think however you want, guys. I will never think that way. I don't even want to think of that as a work. We can have fun and say, hey, the Dean Ambrose thing is a work, and he's going to be rehired if he hasn't already re-signed after Mania. He's going to stick around. You know, we could talk about that being a work. I am not going to talk about a guy having that being a work. Won't do it. So, later on, we found out some big shit too, right, guys? Later on in the night, Dean Ambrose had a match because, first and foremost, Dean Ambrose interrupted Elias after Lacey Evans, a Southern lady and a Southern belle. She interrupted Elias just to wave and then had her little Southern Skittles back up the rampway. That was it. And then Dean Ambrose interrupts Elias. Dean Ambrose and Elias have a little back and forth, a little bit of fun. Dean Ambrose looks like he's having more fun, which is always a better Dean Ambrose than what we've been seeing. And then Dean Ambrose delivers a dirty deeds to Elias. And Dean Ambrose, in the process, said that he wants a match with Drew McIntyre, no disqualification. He ends up getting that match later in the night. Drew McIntyre took on Dean Ambrose. It was no disqualification. It was what it was. I could take it or leave it. At the end of this match, Elias, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin interfere. But again, it's no DQ, so they can. I think they actually defeated Dean Ambrose, correct? Either which way, they beat the hell out of Dean Ambrose. But then Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns came down to the ring to make the save. And it looked like they were just having more fun than anything. It wasn't even about making a save. They eliminated Elias, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin. Who was the other one? Drew McIntyre. Everybody speared, Superman punches. The Stomp. Everybody was taken out. Rollins and Roman Reigns shake hands. They hug. Another hello to the crowd. They're smiling. They just took out everybody. They head up the rampway and then they stopped. They turned around and Dean Ambrose is in the middle of the ring. And he just has this smile on his face. Just this grin. And Seth and Roman are looking at each other like, yeah. And we all know what's going to happen. I broke it last Sunday, guys. Or Friday, actually. We had it out early. A couple days early. On the podcast this week. I told you guys. A Shield reunion is planned for WrestleMania. Now it looks like they might rush that to Fastlane. But definitely at WrestleMania, you're going to see the Shield members all in the ring together. I believe it's going to be after Seth Rollins wins the championship. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns will most likely help slay the beast for Seth Rollins. But not only did Roman Reigns drop that huge announcement, he is in remish, but he also got physical, saying he is cleared. So he's been cleared now for at least a week. I mean, you know he's been in constant contact with the docs. He's cleared, he got physical, he's taken people out, Superman punches, spears, you name it, and he's already set up the Shield reunion storyline. I don't think this Shield reunion is going to be long-term, guys, so relax. There's some people that probably don't want to see this again. I think this is just going to be a feel-good moment, some closure. Especially if this is Dean's last run, and WrestleMania is it, and he's not re-signing. If it is, I still believe it's a work for Dean Ambrose. But if he is leaving, and Seth Rollins is going to win the championship, and this is a welcome back for Roman, then I'm okay seeing the Shield together. Whether it's for a week, a month, or 2 months, I'm okay with it, guys. I think this is full circle. This is some closure. And then you have them go their separate ways. Nobody turning on each other. But I'm okay with it. A lot more, guys. Now I'm going to get into the BS. I mean, a lot of good last night. I just went over it. Awesome segments with an S. Not just one segment. Not just two. Some really good stuff from Raw last night. Newsworthy topics. Things that got us interested for the weeks to come, and especially WrestleMania. But then there's the bullshit. And when we mention bullshit, we have to mention several matches last night that we have to get amplified on because they're just redundant bullshit. A lot of it from 2018 that we're still getting. I'll start off with Finn Balor and Lio Rush. And I'll go even before that to Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor's feud. This is a feud that stemmed from 2018. We've seen them over 10 times, over a dozen times. In singles matches, tag team matches, 6-man tag matches. We were hoping it was over. No, they rekindled Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley in 2019, which means we're going to get a bunch of Lio Rush versus Finn Balor matches, and that's exactly what we've been getting. Nobody wants to see that. They don't have a plan for Finn Balor. They don't have a plan for Bobby Lashley. They don't have a plan for Lio Rush, and they most certainly don't have a plan for the IC strap. Collectively, that's an issue. I will commend Lio Rush last night. It's the best he's looked in it since I've seen him on the main roster. Not just in the ring, but his characteristics and his selling and his promo. He did the best with what he had to work with. He did the best with the storyline that he was given. I really felt the heartfelt message he was trying to deliver in that promo last night. So that's always good to see. Even though he's been given garbage, he's trying to make something out of it. The problem is nobody wants to see him and Balor in that ring. I'm really glad that he called out Finn Balor on his little, what he called whitey tighties. Why is his shit so tight? Why is his trunks? I know they're called tights, but don't take it so literally, dude. Talk to your fellow peers in that locker room, Finn. Let the boys breathe. I thought skinny jeans were bad for mankind. I mean, why suffocate your boys every single day, man? The good Lord granted me with a very big, nice package. A nice set of how you doings. I want to let the boys breathe. How is Finn Balor? Why are they so tight, bro? I understand you want to be pop collar smiley Finn, and that's your new character. You don't want to be the demon anymore because you felt that's what people were going to know you as forever. What's the problem with that? It's an awesome character. You want to be pop collar smiley. That's fine. You want to have abs of steel. That's fine, dude. That's great, actually. You want to take care of yourself. Why are your tights so tight? It looks so weird. It's awkward, I'm sure, for everybody. I mean, okay, a lot of females may like that. That's fine. But I'm sure there's also a lot of females that are also asking the question, why so, you know what I mean? Like, what the, why are your, what the, are you a pro wrestler? Are you a male gigolo? What are you? I haven't pinpointed Finn Balor yet. You got a guy like the Demon that's so cool. It's like, cool to cheer for Demon Balor. Demon Balor is cool. And then you have Finn Balor, and it's like, for a dude, he's not really so cool. I don't know, man. I'm glad Leo called him out on that. Hopefully people, I was the first one to do that weeks ago. Leo followed suit. Hopefully more people ask, dude, what's up with the tights, man? Can you let your boys breathe a little bit, man? It's awkward for all of us, and you know damn sure you ain't comfortable in that shit. Anyway. Moving on. More redundant bullshit. Kurt Angle, Jinder Mahal. BC, we don't see that match often. Yeah, thank goodness. You know why? Nobody would care about that either. Why is Kurt Angle having all these weird I love Kurt Angle. I always say, man, I'll watch Kurt Angle in a match. If you got 5 minutes, man, I'll give it to Kurt. The guy, match by match, is not looking like he belongs in the ring. So if you're going to give him one more WrestleMania match, that's awesome. They went about it the totally wrong way here, guys. They just did. What he's going out there and just having weird Raw matches. He's losing out of the blue to people like Drew McIntyre and others and not looking great at all. Then he comes back and he beats guys like Jinder Mahal. The 50-50 booking can even ruin legends in the business, guys, not just youngsters. They're 50-50 booking Kurt Angle for what? A 50-50 booked run into WrestleMania that nobody will care about? Very odd to me, guys. He ends up beating Jinder Mahal after losing several weeks. So what are they doing with Kurt Angle? At first, it looked like a bunch of people were going to beat him, and this was going to lead him to say, hey, I'm having one more match at Mania. I feel I have a lot left in the tank, but it's not showing. So if I can't win this match at Mania, I'll walk away forever. And maybe then that's intriguing. That's something on the line. But if he lost all those matches, and now he's beating people like Jinder Mahal and going to win more matches, the 50-50 booking, mind-bogglingly confusing, but also just plain stupid. It really is. I just don't get it, guys. Strowman and Lashley. They were supposed to have a match last night. They didn't even have a match. At first, I thought it was a match. They were in the ring. They were beating each other up for 2 minutes. I thought, that's a match. Then they go to the outside, and apparently it wasn't even a match. Because Lashley attacked Strowman from behind. Still, they fought for 5 minutes. If I was the ref, I would say, fuck it, ring the bell. Braun Strowman destroys everybody and Braun Strowman looks like a monster again? No, I'm not buying it. You stuffed Braun Strowman in the middle of Raw, had him do a 5-minute nonsensical no contest match with Bobby Lashley, and then at the end of Raw, you had him stand up at the rampway with everyone else celebrating Ric Flair's party. He's in a normal shirt, he's got his hands folded, he's just a regular dude. That's not... What the fuck? Come on, man! Oh boy, can I do... Oh, no, I'm going to wait for Bayley, Nia Jax. I'm going to wait for that to the end. Let's do Revival against Ricochet, Aleister Black. That's great! Ricochet and Aleister Black. Looks like now they're going to be on the main roster, guys, because they're the ones without the titles. Tommaso, Johnny Gargano, they have championships over in NXT. They were not shown last night. Aleister Black did say goodbye to NXT. I'm sure they'll go there a few times. They'll still have more events. But it looks like they're going to be a mainstay on the main roster now. And they had a tag team match, and it's good. They won. They're newbies, and they shouldn't be losing yet. I understand. But they beat the Revival. The Revival just became tag champions 2 weeks ago. Last week, they already lost to Gargano and Ciampa. This week, they lose again to Aleister and Ricochet. Not even people that have been on the roster for a while. They're losing to just all the NXT call-ups right off the bat. These, again, golf clap for Ricochet, Aleister, Tommaso, Johnny Gargano, everyone that beat the Revival. Now look at it from the other side of the pendulum, because it swings both ways. That is your tag team champions losing every time they get in the ring. They got the championships on their 116th try, and then they've lost every match since. What more can you say? How about no more? I'm not even going to waste breath on it, because I have a lot to go over now with Bayley taking on Nia Jax. Bayley defeats Nia Jax. All of this Nia Jax being built as a monster. Bayley just beats her middle of the ring 1, 2, 3 with the awesome Macho Man homaged elbow from the top rope, which I love. And I love Bayley on her own. I love Sasha on her own, not as a tag team. So that's awesome for Bayley. And I'm not saying she can't beat Nia Jax. But wow, bro, you're supposed to be making us believe that Nia Jax is something in this business when we all know she's not. But you're supposed to be giving the illusion. She just lost a... But if you're gonna ever try to build Nia Jax again, I will never, ever again believe it. I'm telling you right now. Telling you right now. Not doing it. Nia Jax has looked like a joke. Every which way you can look like a joke. Through faults of her own, and her own lack of knowledge in the business and training or whatever, but also the way she's been booked. You put them both together, and it's just a joke. Just is. But here's what really gets me. It was announced, as we saw it coming from last week, the big first ever tag team title defense for the women, obviously with Sasha and Bayley as the champions, will be at Fastlane against Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. The rematch of rematches that we have seen 9,614 times before in 2018 and into 2019. Nia Jax and Tamina against Sasha and Bayley. And you guys remember day one when that tag team got formated. Bayley and Sasha, and everybody started talking about tag titles eventually. And I told you guys, so what? They win tag titles, and then what? Then we see the same redundant matches that we saw weeks and months now, and now years, because start over in 2018, now 2019. We're going to see the same matches. Now they're just going to be promoted as championship matches. So what happens after Nia Jax and Tamina go down? Then we go to the Riot Squad. Then what? Then they go over to SmackDown to take on Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Oh, what an epic 2019 for Sasha Banks. But BC, she has a title. Fuck the titles. Honestly, fuck the titles. I don't even care about the titles. Give two shits about the titles. She deserves more than redundant matches every single week. Not just Sasha. Let Bayley flourish on her own as well. You booked her like trash and she's been on the main roster. Now she actually has some chutzpah back and she's stuck in a tag team. Boss and Hug connection. Unless you give me a reason to want to be invested into this tag team division, into the tag team known as Boss and Hug, into these titles and give a shit about these titles, you better give me reasons to do such. Nia Jax and Tamina versus Bayley and Sasha is your big first plan title defense? BC, Don't worry, man. It's just the beginning of the titles. Yeah, that's what worries me. It's just the beginning. Think about that. Let that sink in. That's it. Don't let the amplification at the end of this video get it twisted. This was actually a damn good Raw because of multiple reasons, multiple segments. Ronda Rousey drops the strap, lays it in front of Stephanie McMahon's feet. Where do we go from there? Becky Lynch did get arrested. Where does she go from there? Roman Reigns is now back. How is this all going to unfold? Where do we go from here? What is this Shield reunion going to look like? How is it going to take place? What's the longevity of it? What is Roman's actual plan for WrestleMania? Is it just to make an appearance? Does he have a match with Baron Corbin, who was talking shit about him backstage yet again last night? Batista crashing Ric Flair's 70th birthday party bash. Huge segment dedicated to Ric Flair in Atlanta. And Batista made his presence felt. Shocked the professional wrestling world to its core last night. We're still talking about it this morning for the rest of the week. And if they do this correctly, all the way through WrestleMania. So many storylines, guys, that we're talking about today. That shows you that was a good Raw. However, they got to do better with their fillers. Their redundant matches have to be matches we give a shit about, so there's so much room for improvement. And let's not fool ourselves. This was one good Raw. That doesn't mean now they sit on their asses, rest on their laurels, and twiddle their thumbs. They need to start bringing this every single week, not just to WrestleMania, but past WrestleMania. This is the quality shows, and even better, that we demand. Because it's the only thing acceptable. Why would you not have fun putting on the shows? How could you run a business like WWE and not enjoy what you're doing, not have fun with it, not get as creative as can possibly be? What I saw last night was people finally getting creative. Could this be Bruce Pritchard? We know he's been hired by WWE for a top spot in creative. We know he was starting last night in Atlanta. Could this be a lot of Bruce Pritchard, the old brother love? I love you. That's a good brother love, right? If you don't know who Brother Love is, YouTube him, and you tell me that isn't a damn good Brother Love. Oh, my WWE Universe, I love you. It's a little bit of Lacey Evans, but a lot more annoying, if that's possible. That's Brother Love, but he is one of the heads in creative right now. Did he do this? We gotta find out information. I'm really excited to see what the ratings are gonna be. From Roman Reigns kicking off Raw to how this thing ended, some newsworthy topics in between, I think it did enough to capitalize and invest on people that are just switching channels, the casual fans, but we have to see. That's it. We gotta wait till next week, man. I don't want to put too much into the show because we finally got a good one, and then next week it could be right back into the toilet. The frickin' garbage bale outside. That's where next week's show could be. Just like that. This company 50-50 books itself. Good show one week, not so much the next 76 weeks. Good show one week. Oh, wait, that wouldn't be 50-50 booking. That'd be 1% good and 99% fucking trash. That's it. Mitch Jr., say goodbye. That's the end of the show. We'll see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown's review and reaction. Go ahead, Mitch Jr. Can't say Mitch Jew. Can you say Mitch Jew? That's not really... Mitch Jr. Oh, I like your style. He didn't say goodbye. He said, check you later. That's my boy, New G.